In this video, we'll be discussing how to self-petition for a green card based on domestic violence. We have prepared for you a set of questions and answers with an intern at my law firm, Ishel Mendez. Hi, Ishel. She'll be asking me the questions and I will be giving the most commonly questions and answers. Go ahead, Ishel.
So my first question would be, what is the eligibility for VAWA?
Yeah, so you can self-petition, meaning you can get a green card on your own. If you can prove to the US government, to USCIS, that you have been abused by your US citizen or resident husband or wife, spouse, or parent or child.
Mm-hmm. And is VAWA only for women, or can it also be for men or children?
So the name is a little confusing to people because it says Violence Against Women's Act, because women are the ones that advocated for it. But in essence, it pertains to everyone, women, men, and children. Anybody who's abused by a US citizen, resident, spouse, parent, or child can self-petition.
Mm-hmm. And so what type of abuse counts as eligible for VAWA?
So you have to have been physically and or psychologically abused, right? Mental abuse. For physical abuse, it could be very broad. It doesn't have to be severe. It doesn't have to be so serious. It could be anything from a slap on the face, a kick, a push, obviously not an accidental one, but someone who did it on purpose, right? And hurt you physically, and it's something constant, that it constantly happens. It's a pattern of abuse. As far as psychological, emotional, mental abuse is concerned, you have to prove that this has been a situation where the person has had control over you, that it has been continuous. So it could be economic control, physical, emotional. The person doesn't want you to speak to anyone. The person doesn't want you to get a job. They're in control of everything, the financial situation. They're the ones with the bank account. They're the ones that, even if it's your money, they're the ones that control it. It's borderline. We want to make sure that it's not a bad marriage, that it is in fact abuse, but it is very broad. And it all depends on your specific situation.
Mm-hmm. And going off of that, what type of evidence would you need in order to apply for VAWA?
For physical abuse, you can utilize a police report that you have filed or an order of protection that you have filed with either criminal court or family court. Pictures, maybe you took pictures of yourself after you were beaten. Medical records as well. You don't have to have these, but of course, if you do, it makes a case stronger. But it is important, if you do have them, to document them, right? To save them, because sometimes we go to the doctor for an injury, and sometimes people say or lie, I fell off my bike, but it was really the abuser who hit you. And so when we get the medical report, it doesn't necessarily match what you're saying. So you would have to explain that. And for psychological abuse, what we do is we send the client to a therapist, right? A psychologist, a psychiatrist. Maybe they have been to one already. Maybe they've been going to therapy with a counselor, or it doesn't really matter what their title is, but the more experience they have and the more education the therapist or psychologist or psychiatrist has, the better, right? Because then they're evaluated and they're giving more tests, specific tests, to determine whether they have been abused and they're suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder or depression, anxiety, whatever the case is, depending on that particular situation.
And so using that, what would an overall view of the process be for VAWA?
So the process is Essentially, you file, like you would file any other paperwork, you file an I-360 form with USCIS, with the US Citizenship and Immigration Service. And once that's approved, then you apply for a green card and a work permit. The processing times vary. Currently, it's about 18 months. We're in August of 2020, but that could vary depending. And then you apply for a green card, and that could vary as well. It could be anywhere from 8 to 10 months or maybe longer. So we're looking at about a 2-year process. Some people qualify to apply for both processes at once. So they can apply for VAWA and at the same time apply for adjustment of status and a work permit, which would be great. So you would have to consult with your attorney to see if you're eligible for that. And usually if you have a strong case and you don't have any other issues of inadmissibility that would block you from getting a green card, you should be okay. But that would be a decision you have to make with your attorney.
And so to kind of end off, what would your advice be to someone who resonates with the information you just said?
I mean, I think it's important for whoever's listening to this video not to be afraid. It is very scary to file a police report against someone you love or you used to love. And it's very nerve-wracking. And I would say, don't be afraid, take a step. You don't have to get the person arrested. And you don't have to worry about what's going to happen to the abuser, because in some situations, let's say it's a female who's being abused by her partner or her husband. Well, in this case, it has to be her husband. And if you're being abused by your husband and you have children together, you don't want the husband to be arrested in front of the children, for instance. So like I said, you don't have to get them arrested. You can file an order of protection with family court and they don't have to be arrested. There's ways to do this. And even if you don't want to file anything against them, that's fine. You can still self-petition, so long as you're telling the truth, so long as it's all full, you have all the details. Maybe there's witnesses to the event. Maybe there's a neighbor, a landlord, an employer. Maybe the abuser came to your place of employment to threaten you. And the employer or your colleagues could write an affidavit, okay? So there's ways to prove this. And remember, you have to prove legitimacy of the marriage as well as abuse and good moral character. They require those things. And so don't be afraid to report. That would be my message. And take your first step as soon as possible. Call an attorney you trust, maybe a nonprofit organization in your area that you trust, or you can call our law firm as well at Anna Maria Bason Law Firm. The phone number is 718-478-8583, 718-478-8583, or you can email us at abasonlawfirm. If you feel safer to email us and say, can you call me at this time? Some people don't feel safe, right? Because they're residing with the abuser. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can get these videos that we're doing, educational videos, in case you need more information about any matters or new changes in immigration policy or laws. Thank you for watching and good luck with your future endeavors. And thank you so much, Michelle. I appreciate it. Bye.